Welcome to Well-Conceived Business, the place health and wellness practitioners come to create businesses that deliver both profit and peace. Let's dive in.
Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Well-Conceived Business. And the spoiler alert to today's episode is that I'm not a giant fan of memberships, but I'm going to break down with you today exactly why that is so that you can make some really empowered decisions about your business model, and how you want to move forward. Because so many times, and I've done it myself in business, I've felt like I wanted to launch a low-cost membership because we see Facebook ads online for people like Stu McLaren and seem like this is the magical answer. And everyone tells us about monthly recurring revenue. And we think, cool, I'll just start a membership. All I need is 50 to 100 members, and then I'll be at my magic $100,000 annual revenue figure. And I'm so sorry that I'm here today to burst that bubble, because what I'm going to talk about today is some of the pros of memberships that actually aren't what everybody tells you, the things that nobody talks about, but then also the small circumstances in which a membership actually may be appropriate. So tune into today's episode if you would like to sit down and have a real look at the strategy behind business and what it might actually take to launch a membership versus an online course, so that you can make a really empowered decision about which one's best for you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And if you would like to have a bit of an insight into what business model is right for you, as well as if you want to have multiple products in your product suite, what might that look like for you? How should you structure that? What revenue should come from, which products in your product suite? What's going to be the most time effective versus the most lucrative? All of that juicy information and the 3 types of revenue streams I focused on in order to create a 6-figure business in 6 hours per week. You're not going to want to miss me conducting a free live training next week. It's called the Part-Time Profitable Playbook. I'm going to talk about 3 secrets to creating a profitable business in part-time hours, even if you're just getting started, you don't have oodles of time, all of the things. Don't miss it. So if you would like to learn more, come and reach out to me on Instagram and just DM me the word playbook. Have a look at my link in bio on Instagram or check out some of my posts. You're not going to want to miss this session. It is so filled with strategy. It's going to give you real clarity whether you're just starting out in business or really advanced in business and looking to diversify your offer suite. This is the essential framework that I haven't heard many people talk about. And even I haven't spoken about it for years. So just remember the word playbook. DM me on Instagram as soon as possible so that you can get your name down. I'm running 2 live sessions of this. So wherever you are in the world, you should be able to find a session that's going to work for you. But there will also be a replay. Come and find me on Instagram at Robyn Birkin, and definitely send me the word playbook to get all of the details. So let's dive into all things online courses versus memberships. And I'm going to give you the full breakdown as somebody who has had 2 low-cost memberships as my signature offer in my business, and then also now kind of run a membership of a different sort that is now in its 4th year. So what is the difference between those? And that's what we're going to give you an insight in today. So I know that so many of us have a look at the ads online. We have a look at everybody promoting monthly recurring revenue, and memberships seem like this kind of golden goose opportunity because, oh my God, stress-free. I don't need to worry about this. I can just have this money coming into my account and secured every month. And I can tell you right now that having recurring revenue in your business is amazing. But the thing most people don't understand, which is actually very stressful about memberships, and we can come to the doors open, doors closed model, or having a product evergreen. When you have a product that's evergreen, it's not like you don't have to sell it. I guess contrast to launching, when you have an evergreen product, it's almost like you have to sell it all the time. And what most people don't realize about memberships, this is, if I had just one thing I wanted to tell you about memberships, it's this. And this is what most people don't understand. The cost to acquire a customer for a membership on average is the equivalent of 3 months. So for example, if you have a membership that's $30, the cost to acquire that customer is on average $90. So unless you have a giant audience and can primarily get to the numbers that you want organically, that's going to look like spending $90 to get each client. So whether that's through a funnel or whether you go straight to sales, almost like a self-liquidating offer, it actually is probably going to cost you $90. So if you want one new member per day, you need to spend $90 per day on Facebook ads. And please stay tuned for the full episode, because this is where you're going to start having all of these little aha moments about some of the different points that I have. What most people also don't realize, though, about memberships is the cost of churn. The average duration that someone will stay in a membership is also 3 months. So you acquire someone for $90, they stay for $90, and then they leave. So the biggest thing you need to understand about memberships is not like just how can I get members in, because members, it's almost like a bucket with a hole in it that people will be joining and leaving at the same time. And that is super stressful, because it's almost like you need to keep pouring water into this bucket in order to try and fill it. It feels very stressful. I've had this happen twice. And look, my second membership, we reached 100 members within 4 months, still stressful. So you really need to have a think, if you have a membership, about number one, what is my plan to get members on board? How much am I willing to spend? How much capacity, revenue, funds do I have to acquire members? Which the majority of people, when you want to start a membership, you actually have very low funds to contribute. But then having a look at, well, what is my strategy to actually get people to stay for 6 to 12 months in my membership? So then the next thing that we need to talk about, and it's a common myth about memberships, is that, so let's, as an example, say that this is a $27 membership. You would think, well, it's a lower price, right? I'm going to provide all of this information at a lower price point. That means it's going to be easier to convert people. Well, actually, that's not the case. Memberships actually don't convert as well as straight up online courses. And that's because there's this perception, particularly with online business kind of stuff, there's this hidden perception that people have that I'm going to be locked into paying every month. And then we have this thing where they continue, unless it's like a $3 or a $5 or a $7 charge that is kind of negligible, they're going to be reminded and have to make that decision every single month as to, is this worth it? Do I want it? Every single month. That's really hard. So if you have anything that's any kind of reasonably significant expense, so if we're talking about $27, number one, it's harder to convert because people know, like, I'm going to get locked into this, then I'm going to have to actually physically cancel this unless I want to be charged forever and a day. And then every single month, they're going to be reminded and have to decide and ask themselves the question, is this worth it that I signed? So it's almost like they have to emotionally sign up for your program every single month, right? So it's a harder sell. So those are the two big myths about memberships. But here's what nobody also talks about with regard to memberships, and also why I'm just not a fan of them. So number one is churn sucks. So when you have a signature online course or something like that, I always say to people, expect up to a 5% refund rate. So up to 5% of people, and I've had launches, some of my biggest launches, and I've had not a single person refund. I've had smaller launches, same product, same everything, and had 5% of people refund. I don't really find there's a big rhyme or reason to it. If you had consistently 10% of people refund, I'd be like, red flag, what's going on here? But no rhyme or reason, 5%-ish of people will ask for a refund on your online course. Generally, it's not on you. It's their circumstances have changed. They're just not ready, whatever it is, that's totally fine. With a membership, churn sucks. You cannot expect people to be in your membership forever. Even if the average person stays for 1 year, at some point, someone is going to send you an email, fill out a form, whatever it is, and essentially say to you, I don't think this is worth the money anymore. That always used to a little bit sting for me. So you become a little bit desensitized to it, especially once you're like, well, what did I expect? Them to be a member forever? But especially when you're in the early stages of business, it's almost like that rejection sucks. And not enough people talk about it enough. Something that you may have heard before as well, or you may have considered, is content burnout. So when you have a membership, one of the most common reasons that people leave memberships is because they aren't keeping up with the content. You're releasing some form of content every month, you're running a call, whatever it is. And if there's any little part of that membership that they don't feel like they're using, then it's very easy for them to turn around and say, well, I don't think I'm getting my money's worth, so I'm ready to quit. So that's really hard, because also if you aren't providing new content or anything like that, people will also leave because they're like, what am I paying for? So it's this really fine line between what am I providing and what am I not providing? How do I manage that content? And there's so much pressure that comes along with constantly having to create new trainings and things like that. So in my last membership, it started off as a front end offer, it then became a behind the scenes offer, but we would have a new meditation every single week released. So I would need to record that, get that uploaded, get that edited, put it into the membership portal. We would also have like different classes that would be uploaded. So if you think about your workload, and particularly if you're someone who only works part-time in your business, planning, creating, and delivering that content could take you between 1 to 2 days per week, depending on what it is that you're providing. So, do you have that additional capacity in your business? So, when we look at something like an online course, of course, you are constantly in the process of checking that your content is still on point. Is it still relevant? Is it still up to date? And then making sure that you're still delivering bonuses, etc. But by and large, there's no commitment to having to provide new content every week, every month. So content burnout with memberships is real. And if there was one big reason that I have stopped both of my memberships, a big reason for that is that content burnout. Like, you just get to a point where you're like, oh my God, this is hard to continue providing. And we ended up with something ridiculous like 65 meditations, 45 guest masterclasses. Like, there was just a lot in it. And then when you have new members coming in, they're like, holy moly, there's all of this. That's really hard to continue delivering that without culling content, which then pisses people off because they're like, hey, like, why am I losing stuff that's in my membership as well? So that can be tricky as well, is managing that balance, managing your time as well, and making sure you're not just constantly delivering stuff into the membership so that people don't feel like they're coming behind. So there's a real, I don't know what you call it, nuance or cadence to providing content strategically in your membership. The next thing that I firmly believe, I've not heard anyone talk about this, but it is so, I deeply see it, is it's the magical 100 figure. So knowing conversion rates, let's say you aim for an average of 1% conversion. So let's say that you want to have 100 members in your membership. That means, let's say you're running a webinar as your conversion event, you need about 1,000 people to be showing up to that webinar in order to convert 1% of people into your membership. So the big question that I would ask you is, do you have the audience and email list in order to have 1,000 people show up to a conversion event in order to then convert 1% of people into your membership? And I talk about the magical 100 mark. And that is because, and this is one of my points as well, is that people come for the content, right? People will come for the transformation that your membership provides. And memberships 100% need to have a transformation. It's just delivered in a slightly different way to an online course. So you still need to have some kind of outcome, core benefit to your membership. People need to be making progress and see that they're making progress and that this is invaluable, right? But people will often stay in a membership because of the community. And the figure that I think is the magical community figure that will get people to stay in a membership is 100 members. It's most people I see. So I have people who will work with me. I've had people come to work with me and join the mastermind who are like, I've got 2 members in my membership and this is freaking hard. Like, this whole leaky bucket. I get 1 member, then I lose 1 member. Most people I will work with seriously get stuck at between 10 and 30 members. If that's the case for you and you're like, no, I'm committed to a membership, you really have to have a look at, number one, I need to radically acquire 100 members. And that means, in all circumstances, laying it out on Facebook and Meta ads to get that, and accepting that cost of acquisition, which is typically 3 months of your membership, but then also really prioritizing and having a next level offer so that people will sign up for the 6 or 12-month membership offer. Like it has to be. And it's very, very hard to make any kind of significant money from a membership without that, right? It just feels like hard work otherwise. So I always say that 100 is that magical community figure that then the community kind of takes care of itself and it starts to improve churn. So you really want to be able to get to 100 members within 3 months. If you have the audience and the systems to do that, that's going to make your membership 10 times easier, right? That's also going to generally provide you with the monthly reoccurring revenue that you need in order to sustain a sustainable business. So then what I've just spoken to a little bit as well is that you still need a transformation. So one of the things that a lot of memberships are missing or don't consider is it's not just like every week, sign up for this. There needs to be some kind of zero to hero transformation. It needs to be able to have a pathway of like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, so that people can self-identify where to start with the content, where to work on the content, what goals they're working to, and exactly what benefit the membership is providing to them. So you have an online course that does almost the same thing. Online courses, except from an online course, everybody starts at 1 and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In terms of your modules, etc., a membership is slightly different, but regardless, you still need to have that transformation in a membership. So then we have a look, and another thing that nobody talks about enough is what I call like the $27 phenomenon. And so this is where I talk about it's going to take a cost to acquire is going to be generally 3 times the cost of the monthly membership. And then you have this churn rate. So by and large, when you're dealing with a lower cost products, even though, amazing that it's like a monthly thing. So it's not just one $27 product. But when we're looking at those low end, like front end offers, they're typically break even offers. So they're not there to generate the sustainable revenue that you need in your business. So one of the reasons I'm so passionate about a signature online course, and if you tune into the masterclass that I'm running next week, please do, because this is where I talk about why a signature course works so well as the hero and how to structure this and where a membership could potentially fit in your business model. Comment playbook, come and find me on Instagram, let me know playbook, and I'll send you through all the details. But typically that's a break even offer. When you have something that's a low cost, it's going to be really hard for you to earn, let's say $250,000 a year if that's your only offer. Whereas that is actually possible with a signature online course. So you can reach that figure with only a signature online course. It's actually really, really hard to reach that figure with a membership. So a membership in that case is typically going to be what I call part of your feeder funnel. The membership has to feed into other products and services that are higher ticket because they're typically only going to break even. So they might make you some money, they might make some monthly recurring revenue, but it's generally going to be uphill because of this in-out phenomenon and because of the cost to acquire. So what is the ascension ladder and the ascension path? And here's the thing that I've found, and I'm not the only one who has spoken to this: memberships and signature online courses don't play super well together. Memberships play super well with VIP offers and one-to-one coaching, fab, but they don't play well together if it's a membership that then leads into a signature online course. Maybe if it's like a $7 membership and it's super like designed to break even, but just understanding that they're not the money maker and that you can't have you can have whatever you want. It's your business, your rules. But if you have like a $37 membership that then leads into a signature online course and the transformation is very similar, right? Because a membership is more work than an online course because of the continual content you need to provide, then they're not going to play well together. So you're going to end up potentially putting so much energy into the membership where thing that's going to provide you with your wages and profit in your business is the signature online course, and the membership might trash the conversions into the signature online course. It's so complicated, isn't it? So I really find that there needs to be good thought before creating a membership into exactly what that ascension ladder looks like for you and how to create those next steps within your business in order to create the revenue that it is that you want. So the next thing that we need to consider, and so if you have, let's think about an online course or the membership that you want to create. So let's say that if it was a membership, you'd probably charge like $27 a month. And if it were an online course and you had like a really solid module layout, etc., and transformation, maybe the transformation of each is the same, but you would sell that for $497. $497, and you can break that up into a payment plan as well. But the difference is that for that $27 membership, to make $497 per person, the average person would need to stay for 1.5 years in your membership. The math doesn't math on memberships. So it's really hard versus an online course is not only easier to sell, it's easier for people to convert, but it's also going to provide you with that higher revenue level and better monthly recurring revenue because people can see the finite in it. And so it's going to convert better and it's also going to provide that revenue. People aren't going to quit halfway through. So it's generally they sell it, they consume it next, but you continue to have that recurring revenue. And then lastly, there's a big myth that, well, yes, but community is important in what I provide. And you know what? That's a total myth because community is also important within online courses. And community is what can help people stay accountable and have momentum within an online course as well. So a lot of what you provide in an online course is actually very similar to what you provide in a membership. So really speaking to that, considering that long and hard, doing the math on exactly what that might look like for you is so important. So when does a membership work? So here's a few times when memberships actually can work really well in a business. And there's 3 ways. So number one, if you have a big audience. So if you are someone with 100,000, 200,000, really loyal like audience members, whether that's on your email list or your Instagram, memberships can work super well. And typically when you have an audience of that size, you would often lead with lower cost products and services because of that audience number. So if you have a big audience, the reason why that's going to generally work for you is because you would be able to organically generate those 100 members within 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and be able to get to that magical community figure that's going to reduce churn. And then you're not going to have to spend like on Facebook ads, etc. So if you have a really big audience, and so again, speaking to, you've got tens of thousands on your email list, you've got maybe 100,000, 200,000 on your Instagram page, membership potentially could work. The next thing that a membership would work for is when what you provide saves time. So I find that if it's something that is essential and ongoing in someone's lives, that's when memberships can work. So an example might be a Reels membership. People know they need to create Reels. They don't have the time to search for the audio. They don't have the time to put together the caption or the transitions or the text on the screen. And you literally just give that to them every month to save them time. Another one could be a meal planning subscription. People need to produce meals. You give them the shopping list, the recipes, the pictures of what it's supposed to look like, and you save them time. So people know that they're like the cost of their time is higher than the benefit that they receive. Like if I give this up, this is going to be a detriment to my life. The next example is like QuickBooks Xero bookkeeping software. So I don't know if you have any of these bookkeeping softwares, but you'll always see at the top of the page, particularly with QuickBooks, at the moment, I think it's like 6 months for 75% off. You can generally get a good idea from QuickBooks that that means that their cost to acquire a customer is about 5 months. And they know that once you join QuickBooks, the hassle of leaving is bigger than the hassle of staying, right? So they know that that's what it's going to take. So they don't mind providing that amount of time because they know that it's very unlikely that you're going to leave once you've been in there for 6 months' time. So these are the situations where a membership would typically work when it's essential when it's ongoing, and when it's going to save someone time. And then number 3, and this is what I really want to speak to, is memberships can work in your business model when they are a premium service that is focused on VIP access to you after they complete their initial offer. And a lot of it is about implementation rather than like learning the content. So an example of this is the Well-Conceived Mastermind. So this is one of my premium offers. It's one of my favorite offers in my business. And typically people will join Launch Easy Life. Spoiler alert, we're about to open the doors for Launch Easy Life. So come and have a chat with me if you think that's something that you might like to join. This is where you create, launch, and sell your signature course from 0 to like 10K months. And if you're like, tell me more, come and join the masterclass. We'll tell you all of the details about that at the end. But the masterclass, again, playbook, just DM me playbook. We'll send you all the details. That's where you really see how everything fits into your business model. It gives you the ultimate clarity of what you're working to, what the different levels of business are, whether you're just starting out, whether you're advanced, you'll see, oh, okay, this is how I put everything together in my business. And this is exactly how that part-time revenue comes about. But people will join Launch Easy Life. They will create that signature offer. They will launch it. They'll be out there. They'll have had some success. Even if you're only earning like 2K per month or 5K per launch on that program, you've put it out there. You've had some success. You've got some of the balls rolling. So then we have the Well-Conceived Mastermind. This essentially operates like a membership. People join for 6 months. At 6 months, they're invited to renew. About 50% of people renew in the mastermind, and that essentially becomes ongoing, and where they see the value of that investment, where they want to continue implementing and get to those $30,000 months in their business, they want to stay for the value and the level of service that's provided. And that is a premium offer. So the cost to join the mastermind without one-to-one, so there's also a one-to-one upgrade, the price to join that is $5,000, and it's a minimum 6-month term. So you can understand how some of the things that I've spoke to previously about memberships don't really apply when it's a premium offer on the back end of your business rather than something that's put on the front end of your business and is a low-cost product. So when it's a premium service that's focused on VIP, you kind of become untethered from needing large numbers, and it's still going to provide you with that recurring revenue because you already generally had the cost to acquire as well on that front end with whatever your signature offer is, potentially even further down the line at whatever your feeder funnel offers are. So this is my thoughts on memberships. I've had low costs or / hero offers as a membership twice now, and they've been by and large reasonably successful. Like I said, we reached 100 members within 4 months or less than 4 months when I ran the second membership, but I still just couldn't get behind it and ended up, as many of you will see, with a signature online course as the hero, as the cornerstone of my messaging, promotions, everything, because it is just so much more viable, so much more successful for your clients, and so much less work for everyone involved. If you would like to continue this conversation, maybe you disagree and you're like, no, I disagree. And I'm so here and open to people who don't have the same opinions as me. Come and reach out to me on Instagram. Let's continue the conversation. And do not forget, DM me playbook on Instagram to join this masterclass next week. Honestly, it's chef's kiss. So valuable to you. I can't wait to see you then. Bye.
Well, that's Well-Conceived Business for this week, done and on the books. Let's connect at Robyn Birkin on Instagram to keep the conversation going.